Yeah, so thank you, firstly. That's very kind of you to say. I love that thing about energy. I'm very much into that whole energy field, and I love like putting good energy out there because that's what you get back, right? But no, thank you for that. I appreciate that. But yeah, so I'm all about following my dreams. I think I do a lot of different things, like you said, and it's all because it's just about following a goal that I have. So my 9 to 5, I work in finance, and that's something that I've kind of done for years. Actually, that was sort of my passion from back when I was young. And I guess the acting side of things, I started again when I was very young, but it was very much a hobby. And I guess through life experience and as you know, it kind of gets in the way sometimes. But I got into a space where I just thought, this is my passion. And over the last few years, I've really sort of actively pursued it a lot more and have found a lot more opportunities come my way. And now I'm pursuing that a lot more, putting a lot more time and effort and energy into it because that is actually what I want to do in the future. So yeah, looking to sack off the day job for the dream job at some point. But aside from that as well, I do run a property business, which kind of runs itself now. So
Right.
I kind of started building that when I was 19. And I guess being Asian, the whole property thing, it kind of just was very much in our DNA. And like my parents kind of did a lot with that anyway. So it was very much something that I wanted to continue doing. So yeah, I did so I've set all of that up, but that very much runs itself. So it doesn't really take much of my time at the moment. And then, yes, I'd work with a film production company as a head of client relations. So very much on the creative side of filming. So I love being in front of the camera, but actually I want to learn and build my knowledge on what happens behind the camera. So that kind of gives me another string to work with. So yeah, busy bee to say the least, as you know.
No, look, it's insane. I've got a lot of admiration for the fact that you do so much. Like, why, like, why did you take on so much? Like, I don't understand. Why not just stick with one or two things and kind of go deep in that? Why do you spread yourself kind of wide and try and go deep on everything?
Yeah, to be honest, I do. I'm like I focus my attention on things that are important. So, for example, like the acting side and the production side is definitely where I'm putting most of my energy into at the moment. But it's just because I can't sit still. In all fairness, I have to keep doing. Like I'm addicted to growth, and I know that sounds a little bit cliche, but I genuinely am. Like I need to keep doing something to push me forward to like learn new things, do something different, and just keep my brain occupied. Like I can't sit and do nothing. Like we had a conversation the other day where we spoke about sometimes if you've got an evening where you just want to sit and watch a film and then you're like, actually, I could be doing this or something else. And, your mind's just constantly ticking. And I guess that's just what I'm like. So I'm always thinking of new ways to make money, be creative, and just kind of build. That's just what I love.
Which one out of everything that you do is your favorite? Like, which one do you kind of hold dearly in your heart?
That acting,
Acting.
100%.
How did that start?
Yeah.
Like acting, how does someone get into acting?
So I started modelling when I was about 16, and I guess throughout the years I built up quite a big network actually in terms of just building contacts in the industry. And I think a lot of the industry is as such that you need to kind of be doing that. And I did it for a hobby, and actually sometimes I wish, should I pursued it a bit more full time back then? I could have been in a different space now, but um, I guess the universe had other plans, but I guess I just really was relentless with it. More so over the last few years. So before I was quite passive. So if a job came my way, then I would take it, have a look at it, and do it that way. But I'm just relentless with it now. So I've got my goals, my vision, and where I want that career to go, and just taking active steps towards it now. So that is definitely the passion because I think it's like the highest form of empathy actually when I'm acting. That's what I love about it
What do you mean by
because
that?
when you have all these different characters, you're for me, how I do it is I like to find a piece of myself in that character and portray it as I would do myself because I think that's the most natural way of doing it. So, in order to do that, you really have to unearth, it's not about just going and saying lines, but what does that person feel like? Who are they? What situations have they been? Why are they the way that they are? And I love to think about all of that because no matter who's watching, whatever you're playing, someone out there is going to resonate with that. And I think if you can start to understand different situations and elements that people have feeling, then you can understand people better. So that's why I think it's like the highest form of empathy, and I love that that I've got the opportunity to do that. So
Why when you're acting, do you kind of like give so much to it? In terms of like, do you become the other person? Do you become the character? Or are you very, very kind of aware of the fact that there's Tina and then there's the character?
you have to immerse yourself in it. I like doing that because I think that's the only way you can really bring it to life. And I mean, you get the opportunity to be someone completely different for a day or a week or a month or whatever. So yeah, I love it, and you can bring your own flair to it. And as you know, I love kind of bringing that kind of creativity and different side of you know, everyone's multifaceted, right? So I love bringing it to it. I think it's a fun thing to do.
What's it like working
Yeah.
on a like a set? How does it work? I've never been on a set. I've never been around a set. Never been anywhere near a set. But it's always something that's intrigued
Oh,
me because you see the round
I'm.
table conversations that people have on like with Christopher Nolan or whatever, right? And then all the interviews afterwards. But it's never the same. Or you see the kind of the behind the scenes stuff, but it never gets you there
Mhm.
when the character or when the actor or actress is in that moment creating that scene, that empathetic scene, that action scene or whatever, right? So what's it like being on set?
Yeah. Oh, you know, it's so much fun. It's my favorite time actually in anything that I do. All my jobs that I do, like that is my favorite time because you just get to meet and speak to so many lovely people, and I think it's just so much fun. I think when it comes to the serious part of it though, that can be a little bit intense. So, for example, I have recently had to do something where I had a real intense character where I had to cry for like the entire day. And you know what I'm like normally, I'm very happy, bubbly. So that was quite difficult for me. So I literally just had to lock myself away and was like, no one talk to me for like at least an hour before. Let me just get into that space, that zone, and kind of portray all of that. So it's two sides really. Sometimes it can be like really fun when you're doing active, you know, fun things. But yeah, when it gets serious, it's kind of like right, everyone just needs to, you know, get the shot, get what we need to get done. But then after that, as soon as the shot's done, I'm like jumping around all over the place again. So, but it's fun. I'm gonna take you behind the scenes with me one day. Actually, I think that would be quite fun to
That
do,
would be
whether it's in person or
awesome.
virtually. I'm going to do a little vlog for you, just so you can
That
see what
sounds
actually
so
happened.
cool.
It's so
That
much
sounds
fun.
so cool. We could maybe do like a GQ 73 questions as you're like preparing for all your scenes and
Yes.
stuff.
Oh,
Make that
I
into a whole
love
YouTube video.
that.
That would be quite cool. What so
Okay,
like
I'm getting you on
as
set.
an actress, have you ever been in a situation where you have to kind of like do a romantic scene with another actress, another guy, another actor? What
Hmm.
actually happens? Like, are there these
So,
untold rules in the acting world that like? Because I've seen it on the net. Like I think John Boyega was saying that like when you kiss
mhm.
someone, if you kiss them intensely, it's like you're telling them in that moment that you like them, that you're attracted to them, and then these kind of these unwritten rules of the acting world. Like, have you come across that? What's it like?
I have actually. Yeah, I've had to do romantic scenes before, but I think you have to build a relationship with someone that you're going to be working with. Like, you have to feel comfortable, right? And to be honest, because for me, I see it as work. So it depends what it is. Like, obviously, there's boundaries and there's limits to what you're prepared to do. But no, I think it's, you know, it comes as part of the job sometimes. But again, you've just got to set your own limits and what you're comfortable with doing. And actually, it's having that open and honest conversation with the director to say, look, I understand your vision, but this is where my limits lie or whatever. So yeah, as long as you've been open and honest about it, I think it's fine. But yeah, I think it's just part of the job. And you know, if they're hot, then why not? I'm joking. I'm joking. I'm joking. But yeah, no, I don't really have a problem with it. Dependent on what it is and how far they want me to
Do
go.
you like the first time you ever
It's
had to
fun.
do it? Was it quite uneasy, or did you just kind of just get straight into it?
A little bit uneasy because you've got like a whole ton of people watching you, right? Like you've got the whole crew as well. So you're mindful of that because obviously when you're in a romantic situation in your personal life, you generally don't have an audience.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, it is a little bit daunting, but then you just kind of immerse yourself in it anyway, because like after the like first take or whatever, you're in that zone, you're in that kind of whole space, you're comfortable with the person that you're with, so you just
Do you
kind of
have
get
a
on with it, and
conversation
it's just a
with the
job.
partner? So with the actor or the actress, do you have a conversation, like do you specifically have a conversation with them and be like, look, this is what I'm thinking of for this particular scene. Are you on board with that?
Yeah,
So you have to do you
100%.
choose
Yeah,
to have those conversations then?
yeah, always. So the great thing that I love actually is that every set that I've been on, thankfully, it's all been like a little family. So everyone's really open and honest about, what their thoughts and feelings are about certain things. And actually, where if I think I can change something up, or actually we can change the scene, or I could do something differently here, then I'll speak to the other, cast members or the director to say, I think this would work better. Let's give it a go. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But at least we've kind of tried it. So yeah, it's open and honest like that, which I really love. I mean, I have worked with people in the past where it has been very rigid, and I find that quite difficult because, like I said, when you immerse yourself into a character or a situation or a scene, you want to kind of bring yourself to it to make it more natural. And if you don't have the ability to do that, I think that can be a sticky point sometimes.
What do you
But
mean by bring yourself to
um,
it?
So, for example, if so I had to do a crying scene recently, right? Like I said, so I really kind of delved deep into pain that I felt in my life, and just played it like it was me in that situation. So I don't think I'm X character. You do to an extent, but you have to bring your own real emotions to it,
Right.
um, to be able to portray it. And I think that's the kind of difference when you're kind of bringing yourself and playing somebody else. You've got to find that one common ground, or that little strand that fits between both.
And do you have to go searching for that, or is that something that you can just switch on and off now?
Now I find it easier. I can switch it on and off a little bit more easier. But yeah, it's just like you have to just get your. I just lock myself away. I listen to music a lot actually. So dependent on what I'm playing, whether it's happy, sad music, or whatever, music's like my biggest thing to get me into a mood for something.
Okay.
Um, So yeah, I use that to then channel whatever I need to be, and then just embrace it and go and be that person. It's amazing.
How so you talked about being on the other side of the camera now, and how long
Yes.
have you been acting? I actually don't know this.
Oh God, probably on and off for about 15 years
Okay, so wow, that's
ish.
a long time.
But yeah, but then in saying that, like I said, it was like just a hobby where I was doing like little things before. But yeah, no, I've done a lot in terms of like TV commercial videos, films, that sort of thing, and worked with some very famous people, which has been
Can you
amazing
tell
too.
which famous people?
Like Hrithik Roshan was one in the whole Bollywood scene. So if you know, then you know, like he's a pretty big deal. So I was like the lead in this TV commercial that I did with him. So I mean, it's great to be able to have the opportunity to do that, really. So I love
That's really cool. Oh, that is
it.
really cool. What's it like working with him?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, they're quite down to earth. And I guess once you're, because like I said, it's like a family, isn't it? So I have met people in the past mentioning their names, that are a little awkward sometimes, but I think it's important to have that kind of vibe on set because you're all kind of, working to create something amazing.
Hmm.
So you want to have that niceness in it. I think it's a cool thing to have.
I can't imagine
So
what it'd be like sitting in front of like someone that you've grown up watching, right? Like
I
Hrithik Roshan
know.
is an incredible, Bollywood actor. I'm not sure if he's world renowned like some of the other ones, but massive amounts of people follow him in Asia.
Hmm.
As a fan of him, I just kind of lose my shit right there, and then I'd be like, "What the hell is going on?"
You have to be like really cool though, because you can't be like fangirling everyone that
Did
you
you
meet, because then you'll
fangirl
just
like
be like,
with these actors and actresses that you've met? Did you fangirl initially and then kind of just like slip into, okay, we got work to do?
yeah, yeah. I mean, to be honest, it's very professional on set as well. Like we have a laugh, but then you're all there for a job as well. Do you know what I mean? Like it's so you're not. like if you saw them down the street, it'll be a different story. She'd be like, "Oh, hey, can I have your autograph?" and all of this sort of stuff. But actually on set, it does feel a little bit different because I think you're there as a co-star. You're not there as a just someone that you're obsessed with.
Yeah, okay, I understand.
Do you know what I mean?
What's it
But
been like on
it's still
the
nice to be able to have the
what's it been like on
conversation.
the other side of the camera these days? Because you said you were getting into
Oh,
understanding, what goes on when you're not on camera. How's that been and that learning
yeah,
curve?
I actually really love it. It's a lot more harder than you think. 'Cause I think a lot of people kind of see things like this on the face of it and think, you just come on camera, kind of do your thing and then leave. There's a lot that goes into the preparation, the production side, even like for actors themselves. But I think it's definitely been a massive learning curve. There's a hell of a lot that I need to learn in that space. Just even when it comes down to like things like the way the lighting is or different angles, like it can change the entire shot. It can change the entire mood, the vibe of what you're trying to film. So yeah, I'm trying to just really kind of immerse myself into that kind of space and just understand different ways of doing things. And when you do things that when you film something, um, I think, yeah, just the way you kind of switch it all up in terms of the angles and just the way it is a lot to learn. And so many terms that are being thrown at me, and I'm like, I have no idea what you're talking about, but I'm going to go Google that later, and then we can work on it next time.
I like it. Are you planning
So
on are you
yeah,
planning on making a directorial debut at any point?
I would love to actually. I love to write as well. So I definitely want to have something written for this year. It's my aim to do that 100%. So I'm in conversation with a few people to bring that to life.
Right.
So I've got some good opportunities there. So I just want to really kind of immerse myself into that and explore it because I think writing, I love writing. It's just such a great way to get out your emotions, get out what you're thinking, feeling, and just you can literally make it whatever the hell you want it to be. So yeah, I love
Have
that.
you got a script that you're writing at
Yeah.
the moment that you can talk about?
I have got something that I've started to write, but it's not anywhere near ready yet. I've literally just got a bit of a skeleton at the moment, but I'm sure I'll run it by you when it's ready, so you can critique it. So yeah, I'm hoping to have that ready for year end and see what we can do with it in terms of where that can go. So I'm excited for that for sure.
That's really cool. So
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 yeah.
you started in front of the camera and now like it's not taken that long to get on the other side of the camera. Now you're doing both of it. Would you ever put yourself in a
hmm
position where you're acting and directing at the same time?
That would be really hard to do. Although I do want to star in it because
Yeah.
I feel if I've written it, then I want to do it justice. So yeah, I would want to star in it. But in terms of like having a production team, I've got a team that I work very closely with. So that's all fine. But it's just kind of getting it all finalized and ready to kind of be in a space to film. So it's